Welcome back into the Horseshoe Lounge. It is the live show. We are at Roosters. It is a fun, casual joint, and this, I promise you, is going to be a fun, casual conversation because I'm embracing.
Fun. You got negative berm on.
No.
Not today. It's Christmas season.
Not negative. I'm just a person who talks about how I'm thinking about things. That's my job. Pragmatism.
Emotional.
Pragmatic.
That is
neurotic.
It's like that Cowboys kicker. He's like pragmatic.
No, it's not like that.
It's automatic.
Okay, pragmatic berm, conspiracy Jay-Z. What should you? The General Bobby Carpenter. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just here.
You're just here. All right.
I'm just here. I'm just here so I don't get fined.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes, that's true. I got lectured about taking the Cotton Bowl more seriously by Jack Sawyer and Anthony Schlegel last week, so I'm all in.
Really?
I'm excited, Bob. Let's go.
That's awesome. So they leaned into you?
Well, I mean, no, Jack said. Well, Jack told everybody. Pardon my French. But the notion that the Cotton Bowl is not important is bull hockey or something. I
love it.
What? How can I say it? Bull hockey?
As long as you're playing.
Do I have to edit that out?
No.
Well,
Okay.
as long as you're playing to win the game.
You play to win the game?
I mean, Herm told us that.
To win the game.
I mean, you're not just going to put all this work in and then just go down there like, we win or we don't, no big deal. It's only a big deal if you lose. So they're playing to win. The guys care about it. It matters. I think the fact that the number of guys that are playing in it matters. It's going to matter a hell of a lot to Missouri. Missouri, if you will. This is
MIZ.
This is a huge game for them in their program to beat at Ohio State in the Cotton Bowl, like New Year's 6. I mean, this matters to them. It'd be like Purdue playing Texas in the Cotton Bowl. Like, maybe it doesn't matter to Texas as much, but for Purdue, this is a pretty big game.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's okay for you to get excited now after learning who all is going to play, who's going to be there, because it
also
eliminates
any
saying,
excuses.
No,
well,
if you lose.
It does.
It's good. Hey, you'd rather go. Listen, don't go halfway in.
Oh, they're burning the boats, baby.
Yeah, Parcells used to
Let's
always
go
say,
33.
You can't just dip your toe in the pool. Okay, like you're either all in or you're all not. It's like getting a little bit pregnant.
Right.
You know, you're not just going to be.
That's 2 weeks in a row we've had that.
Well, I mean, because that's the reality. It's you're either in or you're out on this. Like if you're here, hey, guys that are playing, lock in. Let's get ready to go. Not I'll play this, and if we win, that feels good. If not. We're gonna enjoy it, but they're preparing hard. Like that, I feel pretty good. Like there's good juice around the team, and everybody that's healthy, I think, capable of playing. Maybe Sans 1 is going to be out there and ready to go.
Do you guys? I mean,
maybe Sans 1.
You guys were both on the team.
If he plays, hold on.
I'm not going to call him a liar.
If he plays,
I'm not going to say anybody's a liar.
Just someone's got to hide his
That
helmet.
would be the worst advice of all time.
I don't think so.
Why?
He wants to play football.
That's my point. That's what I tell Burn. Like,
I'm not saying he doesn't want to.
I know, but
I'm saying it would be horrific advice.
Okay, the odds of him dying.
I want to do a
field,
lot of things, but you got to think about that's probably not a good idea.
Let me ask you this question, and we can then I'll get to what I was going to ask you guys. This I want to ask you now that you're going down this road. What injury could Marvin Harrison
Tyrone
suffer?
Prothro, you ever heard of him?
I didn't ever want to talk about this.
Jalen Smith.
Okay, so
we've seen it in
the
person.
Dude from Michigan, the tight end from Michigan.
Jake Budd.
Yeah, Jake Budd.
Marvin Harrison Jr., barring a catastrophic injury, which is rare.
But it's football.
It's football. It can happen. It's a 1 out of 5,000 shot, right?
No.
I don't know if those numbers are. You're just throwing stuff against the wall here.
60% of stats are made up on the spot.
Yeah, it's at least
80% of the time.
At least
it works
one in,
every
it's
time.
1 in 500,000 that a guy has
a
catastrophic injury.
Hold on.
That's what has to happen for him to not to be a top 3 pick in the draft.
You have literally covered a game.
He could tear his ACL. He could tear his ACL and still be a top 3 pick in the draft.
He could.
Okay, so what I'm saying is that's pretty worst case scenario, right?
It is. And
he'd still be a top 3 pick.
Listen, it's not that. I mean, I think if he tore his ACL, he'd still be a top 3 pick, like you said. I don't think that would deviate. Jalen Smith ended up going on and having a great NFL career, but it probably could have been better, and he wouldn't have a lot of the issues. Now,
he'd also have been a lot richer.
And that's probably true early on, and he ended up getting a nice second deal. But you can never go back and recoup the money that you potentially lost.
I don't live in fear, man.
And that's what I told. So you're like, well,
you hate flying.
I think it's just living in reality.
That's not fear. That's surrendering my control to someone. I have a fear of letting someone else control my life.
Okay, and that's
when you step on the football field.
If I was controlling your life,
you're letting 21
I'm
other
not
people.
going out there to get hurt before this biggest day of my life.
I'm with you.
I can see both sides.
I can see both sides as well.
I'm just saying the odds of it being an injury that is like life-changing as opposed to, damn it, that stinks, I can't work out at the combine.
All right, so here's what's going to happen.
Is
on Sunday, when you get to the airport in Detroit and get ready to go to the Cotton Bowl, you have to
First
bet
class,
$35 million
Monday.
that the plane doesn't crash. That's what you have to do. You're probably going to win it.
I would say that
If I had $35 million to bet on it, I would. The odds there are really, really good. Okay? Now,
especially if you're
1 in
flying
5,000.
You fly Qantas?
no, I'm flying on Christmas.
I didn't. That may have been. That really, I'll give you this. The fact that I dropped in a Rain Man joke that you somehow upped the ante into a Kwanzaa pun is very impressive.
Here to help. So anyway, my point is like you can't be afraid of what maybe getting hurt. That is the same. You could use that same rationale to not play the Michigan.
Okay, all right, hold on. Then what's the upside?
The upside is
fun
with your teammates, and like these are guys you've spent the last 3 years with.
He doesn't want to miss out on.
In the swag, the
big
Cotton
day,
Bowl
the big
swag.
day.
He's still going to the Cotton Bowl.
So,
he said he will be there.
This is where I was going.
Swag.
This is where I was going before we deviated. You guys both played in the 2004 Alamo Bowl. Okay, a game that meant nothing. A game that could have
It meant a lot to me, Berm.
That game, but how important was that game for 2005?
I believe that you can get momentum, I think, as a program a little bit going into the offseason.
I think we already had that momentum.
I think, but I think some of that would have maybe been stunted had we lost that game.
Yeah.
But I think you can really get a lot of individual player momentum moving forward. I think that's probably one of the biggest things where if you go out and play and you do some things, it shows the coaches like, okay, we can do this with this guy. We've seen it now in the game. Mm-hmm. And, I always reference, the Dwayne Haskins and Joe Burrow situation. Once Urban saw Dwayne play in the game and play well, he could not unsee that. So, like, that is now the image that you have, and you can sculpt, packages and different things around what this guy does well, either on offense or defense. So I think that there is a lot of that. Listen, Burp,
there's a lot of that, but for a guy like Marvin, you already know what he can do and what's going on. So you almost say, just rest. We're going to get Carnell Tate in here. We're going to get some guys who need some reps
retrospect
to get out here and see what they can do going into next year.
Maybe he wants to show Jerry what he can do.
What would you do? What would you give up to have one more game in college that you could go back and play with all those guys again? Is there I'm really trying to tug at heartstrings.
Listen, that's a great question, and I've talked to many people about this because they're like, hey, reference going back and playing one more game. Guys that played a lot in the NFL, no one ever really references playing in the NFL one more time. Like, I don't care who you are. Yeah. It's always playing in college. So, I don't know. I mean, are we looking for quantifiable dollars here?
Times have changed as well. Back in our day, we wouldn't think about missing a bowl game, right? I mean, nobody sat out.
Is this inflation adjusted?
Yeah, absolutely.
The Biden economy? Or is this back in those nominal dollars of 2020?
I'm just saying you can't replace that moment. And I understand that the game has shifted and it's all business all the time and it's dollars and cents and everything is a financial decision. But there is still, if you are a young person who grew up playing sports and growing up with your teammates and all of the work you put in, like that matters. It matters to go out there and say, hey, one more time with my brothers. Like that is what motivates anyone who's an athlete.
The brotherhood.
It is the brotherhood.
Until you get super rich. But now we can get super rich super early, and so maybe some of that stuff falls off. But I don't know. Maybe I'm just nostalgic. Maybe I'm not pragmatic, Berm.
I don't know.
I'm nostalgic,
I'm
Berm.
not saying that Marvin doesn't feel that way and that there's a huge part of him that wants to play. All I said was he would be getting horrific financial advice to make that wager to go do it in the
No. Clearly, he's not getting that advice, though. The decision, if he does play, is clearly from him and internally. It's not someone – I guarantee you, no matter how much everyone in the Woody Hayes Athletic Center – on the coaching staff would love him to be part of the game plan for the Missouri game. No one is telling him to play.
Yeah, that's sound advice.
No one is saying, "Oh, you know what, Mark, you really should play."
Berm is telling him to play.
Good advice.
I'm saying if it's in his heart that he wants to play, then play. That's what I'm saying. Don't let yourself be motivated by a financial decision right now. You're Marvin Harrison Jr. You've made a butt ton of money already in your life playing football. You come from a family of a Hall of Fame wide receiver. Money's not an issue for this young man, okay? Like, I understand that money's like, tacos. You can never have enough, okay? I get it.
But I can have enough tacos.
Yeah, that's a lie. It's a bald-faced lie.
I mean, maybe pizza.
Yeah, pizza. I'm with you on that.
Pizza.
Whatever. Insert your favorite food here.
God, I want
That's what she
pizza
said.
Man,
so
pizza
bad
sounds
right
good.
now.
So that's what it says on Austin's face.
Hey, we got our buffalo chicken pizza right here. We'll have to get into
So
this.
anyway, I don't know. My point is like no one's telling him play. The only thing that could be telling him play is internal. And if he has that voice, if he has that inner dialogue, then submit to it and follow through.
I mean,
This guy,
after hearing Emeka talk about what's going on, I think Marvin would be missing out on an opportunity to have a big night.
I'll tell you what, Mech
Let's
is
just come all the way back for 2024 while you're at it.
Or just do that.
Mech is
See how it
fantastic.
goes.
Mech's gonna play. I mean, I think a lot of those guys play. I think it'll be good.
Emeka
Yeah, I mean,
is
he's just
going
talking.
to
He was talking about Devin and how he's looked and explosive, and I mean the great arm. I mean, so if you're Marvin, you might be saying, "Man,
It's not like he's going to
missed
go
on
out
this
there and be like,
opportunity."
to be honest, this guy has stunk.
Why?
I mean,
I understand
What
that,
do
but I would say Devin.
I'm not saying I don't believe
I think
him. I'm
Devin
just
has
saying,
looked.
like,
Devin has looked significantly better than
Yeah,
what I
you've watched
saw
it,
in the
so-
spring.
Yeah, you see.
And then like you talk about the brother. They had senior tackle on Saturday. Yeah, Saturday.
What? It's like 2 weeks after the last game.
Well, what else are you supposed to? Everybody, this was like a
Do it
huge
before
deal.
the Michigan game.
Well, yeah, I mean, and then they did it on Thanksgiving, so everybody's trying to get out of there. And this was a huge
They
point of
changed it.
contention.
Last year was, I think, the first year.
Yeah, and I had talked to them and consulted them about that. I'm like, I wouldn't want to do it on Thanksgiving Day. Like that week sucks now because
Yeah,
of
but you're there anyways.
yeah. But if you want
It
to get
takes
home,
another half hour.
you ever been to it,
Yeah, I went through one.
Coach?
I've been through multiple.
I'm going to be honest with you. It took a lot longer than a half hour.
Yeah,
It's about an
fair
hour.
enough.
About an hour
Some
and 20
guys
minutes.
take 30 minutes.
Well,
Yes.
they need to cut that down, and you get a couple minutes to say something.
if it's in your heart, let it out.
Submit to your heart.
Exactly. I mean, you got a lot of guys up there, and depending on the size of the class. So,
Yeah,
I mean,
that's true.
there's a lot
There's
of elements.
75 seniors on this team right
Yeah.
now because of COVID.
I mean, it was
I didn't think about that.
it was a solid 60-minute
Full
plus.
guys out who've been here for 8 years.
Yeah. So, but listening to those guys talk, and I'm sitting there, Schlegs, James, and I, it's amazing. They do it a little differently now, but James, we used to have young guys talk about us.
Yeah.
They have their coaches talk about them now. But James was the one that talked about Schlegs. So sitting there watching those two, like, talk about this, and then having that was kind of surreal to kind of see that. But listening to the guys like talk and the speeches, the conversations between them and the coaches, their parents are there. They're addressing that. The current guys, and there's just a lot going on, and it's a very emotional thing. And senior day is really recognition for the fans. Senior tackle is kind of the recognition internally, and the messaging, and it was very powerful. And like for seeing that and watching guys like Xavier get up there and talk, and Cade, Tommy, Steele. Tommy saying he was joking. James said he was going to say 2 words. That's what he told him. Got out a few more than 2, but not a whole lot.
Over under was 2.5.
Yeah, it was.
Go Bucks.
But it was good. And like to see that, I'm like, the program is still fine. Like the guys all respect each other. There's a tight knit compassion. They all talk about the brotherhood and like the nostalgia of like Berm said, like going back and those guys understanding what it means to each other and to play and all that. Like it's big and it's
Don't
real.
you think, just to play devil's advocate, that kind of ride, that event you're going through emotionally, just everything kind of culminates, maybe gives you a little bit more going into the Michigan game?
I understand that.
Hey, this is our last regular season game. Like, I get the Thanksgiving thing as well, but do it Wednesday night. Maybe that just means something more going into it. I don't. Anyhow.
People get upset about it. I don't
I'm
care.
sure they did.
I told them as long as they did it before. I mean, if you're not making a bowl game, then there's bigger problems than that anyway. And it's not the end of the season. If you win and you beat Michigan,
Just
then
get rid of traditions.
you're playing. And it's not getting rid of it. It's just
If you
simply
beat Michigan, you still have to win the Big Ten championship next
Yeah.
week. You still got to. I mean,
there's a 12-team playoff that's going to be coming with
You're
all
gonna be
this.
going
There's
to the
gonna
playoff
be
every year.
many games, and the reality is too, nothing was changed. It was changed with the fact that they changed the calendar, and that's how. So like people try to tell me that we played on Thanksgiving. No, we did not.
We did not.
I got drunk every Wednesday night in college at
We
Drinksgiving.
were always at home by then.
Yeah, that's my point. You're at home.
Monday, Tuesday class, you're out.
Yeah.
and
for
then
the
during
weekend.
Thanksgiving weeks on Thanksgiving as well.
Yeah, exactly. So there's a lot there.
Well, that will be more challenging. Just thinking about this issue that makes no difference whatsoever to the current team. Like, when are you going to do it when you get to the 12-team playoff? You don't know when the last game is going to be.
That's why it just always.
That's why you do it the week
was-
before the first playoff game, which is last week essentially.
Right? You still might play 3 more times after that.
Yeah, that's cool.
I mean,
but at least
in
you'll
high
be out of
school,
that
just at the end of the regular season, right?
Do it every week.
every week.
Do it every week.
Just have
New
Tom.
speeches.
Knock one out every week, so it
All
doesn't
right,
take long.
Tommy, add one more word this time. Let's see if we can get to 10.
The good news is that you can have Tommy and Cade talk, and you know that the average length per speech is going to even out because Xavier's going to talk next, and he's going to talk for
Xavier
a full 60
actually,
minutes.
he referenced the fact that, y'all know I can talk, and I'm going to try to keep this short. And he wasn't the shortest, but it wasn't the longest. There's a couple guys early on that I'm looking at the clock. Like, I'm not going to be able to get out of here to get to my son's basketball game. Like, I want to see the end of this.
wrap it up box.
Yeah, the wrap it up box was not in full force.
So the point is, though, like, it matters, right? I mean, it matters to these kids, and I don't know.
Well, I think the number of guys who publicly opted in on Tuesday of last week was absolutely significant.
That was refreshing because I don't think people anticipated that.
Yeah, it's like, okay, maybe we're not losing everybody.
Well, and that's probably a bigger conversation that we can maybe have afterwards about, like, if you're opting in and you have time left, it feels like there's a chance that you could be coming back.
Yes.
And people are lamenting, like, why aren't the Buckeyes getting more people in the portal? I'm like, there is restrictions on how many players you can have on your roster. You have a class that's coming in that hopefully you're going to continue to maintain that and get that signed up here.
Wednesday.
48 hours.
Tomorrow, yeah. So they're 2 days. Yeah, get that done by Wednesday. But they're still a little heavy when it comes to scholarships. So you anticipate maybe some guys leaving. But if a lot of those guys come back, which I think is better, you would rather have your own guys that are grown than bringing in mercenary portal guys.
Proven NFL guys on your own roster or the unknown.
I love, listen, IGB's been great. There's been some really good transfers that we brought in. There's also been some guys like that were here for a year, didn't really play on their way out, or that are here that have been injured most of the year that you like, we brought in this guy and now this guy left because of him. Like, that's not great.
I was watching Hard Knocks last night from last week's episode of Hard Knocks with the Miami Dolphins, the end season, which is great. Mike McDonald, fantastic.
He's entertaining.
Apropos of nothing. The linebacker coach was doing a presentation, and he had a quote on the board, and I maybe get the wording wrong exactly, but it said, the mercenary will always beat the drafted, but they'll both lose to the volunteer.
Yeah.
And I think when you start to think about guys like Emeka Ibuka or Jack Sawyer or potentially JT Tumaloa, who we didn't talk to last week, like those guys coming back, anyone who would rather have some random unknown from the transfer portal over established Ohio State football players who have been here for 3 years, I can't wrap my mind around that sort of thought process.
No, it's because it's
a new shiny toy.
It is,
but it's not even a new shiny toy. It's a new used toy.
It's new to them.
New used?
Yeah, new to you.
Exactly.
New to you.
It's lightly used.
It's stupid. Like I mean,
grass is always greener on the other side. You didn't know that, Berm?
Grass is greener
They're
where
always
you water
better,
it, Justin. The grass is greener where you water it.
I agree.
I like that quote, though, Berm. I'm going to definitely utilize that. Tuck it right.
Yeah, I was like, man, it was like midnight. I'm laying in bed. I'm like, that's deep. Hit me right in the heartstrings. Maybe that's why I'm feeling so.
You got a lot of
emotional
emotions
today.
going today,
It's
bud.
Christmas time, baby. I get very worked up.
You know what'll help you with that?
Mac and cheese
Appetizer
bites?
Tuesday. No, not
not
cheesy
today,
cheesy
brother.
bacon
I
fries.
mean, you can eat all the
Bacon
mac and cheese
fries.
bites you want, but on Appetizer Tuesday, it's cheesy bacon fries. This is
Yummy.
the curly variety.
Yummy.
Yeah,
You can
that's the
get-
only variety they have, isn't it?
Well, you can sometimes
No,
get
you
the
get the wedges.
Well,
Wedges
Oh,
are-
but that's a cheesy bacon wedge. That is a different.
Wedges are
It's
elite.
different.
They're brothers.
The
I
wedges are
understand
elite.
they're brothers, but the fries here are always curly fries. I do not believe they have straight fries. So
Yes.
So
That'd
you're
be
just
correct.
questioning my calling wedges fries,
yeah, because a wedge is a wedge.
but they're
course, of
still
course.
fried.
They are.
It's a potato.
They're fried
A hash
potatoes.
brown is, but so is a hash
Has
brown,
skin
but
on
you
it,
call
though.
it hash browns.
no skin.
I guess we'll argue
I
about
don't know why
that at a
potatoes have to
later
make
date.
everything so difficult.
Because they're a
Potato,
versatile.
potato.
They're a versatile,
They are versatile.
food. You can utilize
I
it
was
in a lot
wondering
of
what
ways.
you're going to call it.
How about the
into-
potato skin? You don't call those skin fries. Skin flute, maybe. I don't know.
Man,
Well, it's time to take a break.
I haven't had any potatoes in 2.5 months. And
Oh man, that's got to just.
Wasting away over here.
No, I got to do that.
You don't have to, Jay-Z.
Hey, did you get a
I'll do it
lap
for
child seat with Berm? So small now.
Anyway, we'll be
We're
right
flying
back.
out of different
That's how
airplanes.
they ride, anyways.
We're taking a break
Calms
here.
Berm down.
We're-
Austin has to cuddle him.
Well, because he won't drink. I have to go there and make sure that the alcohol still gets consumed. So that's my job.
I'm
Anyway,
flying first class next week,
Ooh, man.
and
The fact that you won't drink in first class.
and I
is-
just won't do it. I'm like, no, I
criminal.
can't.
That's why you
yeah.
get that ticket.
and he doesn't have to drive when he gets there. He's popping in an Uber. Like, it's the perfect situation.
falling in an Uber.
And he loves Dirks Bentley, and he's not getting drunk on a plane.
Oh man,
What is this?
Time for a break.
strange.
Okay,
Let's
well,
regroup.
the Appetizer Tuesday. That's tomorrow. You want to get that. We have the second half of a show. It's coming right back at Roosters, which is a fun, casual joint.
There's nothing like the holidays, and we at Roosters have been busy preparing for the season. So grab Grandma, all the cousins, and that one really goofy uncle, and let us host you for the holidays. We'll do the cooking and cleaning, and we'll even help you with the shopping. For every $50 in Roosters gift cards you purchase, you'll receive a $10 Roosters buck. What's better than giving and receiving? Roosters, your fun, casual holiday joint.
Welcome back into the Horseshoe Lounge. We have got to talk about the quarterback situation again for Ohio State. We did last week. It's like, Ryan Day hasn't publicly said anything. And then Devin Brown's like, you know what? I'm starting the Cotton Bowl.
Heck yeah.
I've said it over and over again for all the, to talk about the competition and developing and inconsistency with the accuracy early on. Like the one trait that has always been clear about Devin Brown is that he is remarkably self-confident. And a lot of times that does translate.
Well, he had a mullet, so.
Well, I mean,
now he wears 33.
And he wears 33, Jay-Z's favorite.
I know.
But that also.
The great Larry Bird jersey, 33.
That's right. Summer girls.
I almost can't believe people care what number he wears.
Oh, it's so ugly. I can't stand it. Just looking at him, I just can't
It's because it just looks so awkward.
It looks so weird.
It's so awkward.
But again, he doesn't care. He carries that self-confidence. He's not going to change it. He's got the 33 bolo tie. He's going to be rocking that down there to honor Sammy Baugh in Arlington next week.
Nice.
So, you've got that all rocking. And that, when you carry yourself like that, that does tend to translate to your teammates. Am I wrong?
No, not at all. I think, especially now losing your starter, who was probably people kind of looked at that way, even though Kyle maybe wasn't the loudest or whatever. There's a vacancy there, so you got to step up. And if he's that kind of guy, and
it's like the caliphate, you got to grab the unclaimed land.
Exactly.
Swag really
going there. Somebody's going to.
So he burned the boats and said, "I'm starting," and Ryan's like, "I guess you're starting."
It was the best. I asked Ryan. He came on the show, and I was like, "Was that unauthorized?" He was like, "Yeah, we talked about it." I'm like, I understand you talked about it.
He's going to go there and just lay claim to it. But
they say, hey, you're the
him.
starter, and they ask you, like, how do you, we're working through some things.
We're getting reps.
No, yes, I'm the starter.
I'm starting, and I'm going to have a breakout moment.
Swag is contagious.
It's what it
sounds like. I mean, you hear the people talking about him as receiver saying, man, he's awesome at making plays, extending plays. His arm is off. It sounds like he's really taking over.
I think it was Matt Hasselback that said in overtime, they won the toss. He's like, we want the ball and we're going to score. And then he threw a pick six.
Hey,
I remember.
At least he did it confidently.
Hey, he did it, yeah.
He threw it blind. He wasn't waiting for that break. He threw it.
I think that we've watched through the last 6 months, and there's always been a very palpable difference between the personalities in that room. And I think, if people will go back to like snap judgments we did back in
Snappy Jays
in April or March, there was multiple times Devin's got a different thing about him. He's got a
there was someone in the
moxie.
Ohio State media that was championing him for a long time.
Lots of people have been.
There's a Heisman. He was supposed to be in New York this year, I thought.
What?
Huh?
Who was?
Nobody. Marvin.
Oh. I mean, it's. I'm excited to see it, and I think that everyone, no matter what happens in the Cotton Bowl, whether he goes out there and plays with his hair on fire and plays awesome, or if he struggles, or if he's inconsistent, it's still. This is the first real opportunity to see what Devin Brown is going to be about, but it is certainly not going to be the only opportunity to evaluate him as the starting quarterback. And I think that no matter which outcome you get against Missouri, you're going to need to view it through a lens of rational thought, if that's possible.
Hold on. You want rational?
Because the offense isn't going to be full power. It's also going to.
You have a lot of it.
Standard is the standard.
Outside of
that's what got us in trouble in the first place.
Let's not forget the standard is the standard.
Oh, no,
if he's not C.J. Stroud-esque, we got to get somebody else.
But here's the thing. He's a different player. I think you're going to see a much different Ohio State offense with him back there, given his ability to run and move and just kind of how he plays the position. I mean, your team is going to embody the guy that has the ball.
QB power. Got it back.
It almost has to, but it almost has to be a different offense by default, and not just because
Marvin's not. If Marvin's
Marvin,
not there.
Julian Fleming's not there.
Yeah, I forgot about
Julian. See, Cade, I think would very much want to play, but are the injuries going to allow him to really be himself? I don't know. We'll see what he decides.
He's practicing. That's what. Yeah. If he's practicing now, I think he's going to play.
You won't have Mayan Williams. You won't have Chip Trainum.
Oh,
we don't know.
Maybe Trey.
We don't know fully what the situation is with Travion Henderson, even though it does seem like there's a distinct possibility that he could be returning to Ohio State. So then you're down to Dallin Hayden, and you just
right. You can't
Devin
get a full
is
view.
probably going to have to run the football.
You can't get a full picture of what he could be in a fully formed offense, no matter what happens next week.
Because it's not a fully formed offense.
Because it's not a fully formed offense. That's right.
There you go.
That's right, Bob. Check out the big brains on Bob.
Exactly.
He's a smart.
Appreciate it, Jules.
What's that?
Yeah.
But that's the part we talked about that earlier in the month. It's like, well, go out there and really see what Devin Brown or Lincoln Kienholz can do. It's like maybe you'll see flashes, but I don't sit here and I'm still excited to watch it no matter what. But in 10 days, is that going to be like definitively yes or no on any of these people?
It shouldn't
I'd
be.
say
That's
probably
You
not.
wouldn't think it's going
I
to
don't.
be.
I don't think you're getting enough information to make a declarative statement on this, but you'll be able to get enough information. Maybe see, like, I saw a lot of things I liked, or maybe I didn't see some things that looked like a lot of what I saw before. But I think you'll see trending in the positive direction, and you'll see some flash plays. It's like, okay, now with Flashkin, then you ultimately take that and develop it into consistency.
When we were talking, and we had Devin Brown on the podcast on Friday and talked about some of that self-confidence and burning the boats, and also like just beforehand, it's like he's got one of the protein shakes, and like he looks a lot different physically from August till now.
Protein shake.
Yeah, he's got. I mean, it's like 1,000 calories in there, and like physically, his upper body looks
Beefier?
a lot different. I don't know. Is that the right word for it?
I don't know. I mean,
Thick. QC thick.
thick.
Looking like a thick boy.
He's inflated a little bit in terms of
Inflated.
he's going one direction and I'm going the other. That's all I'm saying.
that's key.
But
I mean,
muscular.
Freaky
You're not,
Friday.
I'm talking about
He's not
muscles,
a,
yes.
he's
More
not a
like
Roosters.
But so
Jared
that's-
Lorenzen,
Yeah.
No, not Pillsbury
The hefty
throw
lefty.
boy.
No,
He's
R.I.P.
He's always been a
yeah.
solidly built kid. I mean, I think that's why the offense found a niche for him this year, because you could run that QB power and run the quarterback run game in the red zone, but now you have to be able to do that on 3rd and 7 and run for a first down. So, like, let's see how that stuff translates next week. There's just so many pieces to the puzzle that
I would say this for
exciting.
all of it is solved in some way by being confident, and he's definitely that.
But that's the part we've talked a lot about, the like Burrow-ish mentality that Devin Brown has, and I always try to temper some of that with reminders that it took Joe Burrow multiple years to physically develop into what he became. It's like to think that Devin Brown, like, obviously he's going to be a different person from December to August. Like, that's just the way life works.
And from
He
August
should
to
be if
December.
He's doing what he's supposed to be doing.
And, and from August to December. I mean, it's you watched the football season. You got to see things unfold. You had an opportunity to be that guy who was one play away most of the year until he got hurt. And then you have that taken away from you. And then all of a sudden the game means a lot more when you can't play
You're just sitting there pumping
So,
weights
like,
all
pumping
day
iron,
with
heck,
the bad ankle.
I mean, people evolve and things change. And
Things change, Mox. You're the starting quarterback
That's
now.
right.
That's right.
Damn right.
Bob with
Jay-Z
with
knows that one.
Yeah, Jay-Z popping in there with
Of course he
the,
was. That's in his
whipped cream,
wheelhouse.
the whipped cream bikini.
Oh, I gave that speech at Mass McKinley pep rally. I had a dream
We're
last
going to beat
night.
McKinley by
And
way
we
more.
beat him out. I woke up sad. And all the girls said, oh.
I can believe it. Oh my gosh, I can see.
No,
that
it did
now.
happen.
That's the most pop culture we've ever got.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
unbelievable.
Is that pop culture? It's 25 years
Well,
old.
For him,
Well, for me.
I mean,
No,
it's stuck in his brain.
It's
there's
good.
a lot from that movie. I've lived in my life.
R.I.P. to our guy too.
Who?
Um,
Jason Streeter?
No, like Fast and Furious man. I can't think of his name right
Paul
now.
Walker.
Paul
Paul
Walker.
Walker.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's going to Florida State.
Paul Walker? No,
I
he's
think,
dead.
right? Well, no, he was.
it's untimely demise. Yes, Paul Walker.
Great appearance in She's All That for Paul
Yeah,
Walker.
tremendous,
as well.
tremendous.
I mean, just
What did
think
I bring up that we were good? Yeah,
generational talent, Paul Walker, that we're missing.
he really was.
What did I bring up?
I don't know. Devin
We're
Brown.
talking,
I guess. Yeah,
We wanted to talk about Devin Brown.
yeah, we're getting that.
He's the
I
starting
think he'll be
quarterback
good.
now.
I think the offense will be different. Here's the one thing too. I look at it defensively. If you're Missouri, you're trying to figure out what the heck they're going to do. It's like, hey, this is what we lined up in. Okay, they had Marvin here, Julian here.
Yeah, this is what they did all year. They have none of those guys there right now.
So we know that their guys are good, but they don't have the. Can we think? Okay,
But we don't have those guys.
Yeah, we don't have those guys like G. Scott, Jelani Thurman. What are they doing tight end wise? Xavier Johnson. What does he look like? Where are they going to line up? You know, they don't have Chip and Mayan, who are kind of their short
true.
yardage change of
X
pace.
crack
Like
them.
that's what I'm saying. It's like, are we going to? Will X be in the backfield? How does that impact our formations and what we're going to call for personnel groupings? Like you build your calls.
Well, and what do the coaches feel comfortable giving a new first-time starting quarterback
absolutely
calls out in the field?
But also, hey, this guy runs a little more. Yeah. So now we're going to have to build some of that
and
in.
Change the offense.
And
option time, baby.
Most of college football, as you watch it, you sit up there, and it's just homogenous, 11 personnel, inside zone, not a lot of creativity in the run game. The one thing Ryan has done is build an offense like, hey, we'll do some 12, we'll do some 21, we can get in some 10. Like
I can't even do 21 at this point though, because you
don't know if you have two. Well, that's the thing. Chip gave you that ability, but there's some differences and other things that they can potentially do. And so I was watching some stuff and talking to James like, what do you do against this? And I told him, you're not seeing any blitz in here because this personnel group, like, it's a pain in the butt. Like, nobody blitzes it because you don't see it a ton. And like, you're going back and forth. What the heck are you supposed to do with it? So I'm like, you're going to get vanilla stuff, which is Justin knows. That's why 2 minute can be easier because you're just getting 2 or 3 or 4 calls and you're not getting this exotic stuff. So I'm anticipating Ryan, he gets real creative as we see in a lot of these things. Like, there'll be some creativity with that. And in doing that, like, that'll make the defense, all right, hack the top part of the call sheet off. We're done with that nonsense. We're going with these where we can get lined up because as soon as you're like, hey, I thought you had him. You wait, no, and then you hit cross, touchdown, boom. Okay, let's get out of those calls.
What we've really realized here is that the college football calendar is stupid. And
it's broken.
These conversations shouldn't need to be happening right now about who's doing what, who's going where, who's playing what. Like, if we just had the calendar and the transfer portal run from January 15th to February 15th. And
can't do that.
Oh, screw it. They can enroll in school in February. No one goes to class anymore anyway. It's pointless. Why are we still pretending?
But don't advocate for something that they cannot adopt, Berm. Like,
they can adopt whatever they want.
They can't.
The NCAA football powers that be are going to create
they
their
adopted
own league.
this month.
That's not
this month, didn't they?
This month is terrible.
Well, I know, but they adopted. I mean, that wasn't always the case, was it?
With the portal? Well, the portal didn't used to exist.
Well, I know, so that's why you can make up the rules as we go.
But if the athletic director
when James Spader found that portal and was able to go to that parallel universe with the Egyptians and everything, that's when the portal started happening.
That's
who?
You've never seen Stargate.
Don't fact check that.
Never heard of it.
James Spader. It's a really good one from the 90s.
But the problem is that college athletics still does not exist independent from the rest of the university.
It only let the portal happen in May to June. Eliminate the portal happening in December and just do May to June only.
Well, fine. I that's a proposal that actually
you heard it first.
Makes sense.
That actually could be adopted.
Signing period August 1, signing period February 1, portal from May through July. Okay? We good?
I'm fine with it.
We'll see you next time. Easy. What else can we solve?
Solved all the problems?
Yeah, problem solved.
What else can we solve today?
Pragmatic Berm. Solving problems.
I don't believe that semi-truck drivers should be allowed on the road between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m.
I don't believe they should be allowed in the left lane.
Ever.
And if they do, I should be able to be vigilantes.
8 a.m. to 8 p.m.
Just pull out a shot 12 gauge and fire a few in their
8 a.m.
tire.
to 8 p.m. they should not be allowed on highways.
Berm's just going to his biggest hits right now, his presidential platform.
That's right.
The presidential.
Only allowed
on daylight savings, Berm.
I've been hearing about these.
What about daylight savings?
Get rid of daylight savings.
No,
Idiotic.
you got my vote.
So hold up. If the elimination of daylight savings, though, would you rather live in daylight savings time? Because that's what a lot of people lobby for.
No. I want to just let everyone be on the same time.
No, that's my point. Well, everybody can't be on the same
time
every time.
Well, that's my thing. Is most people say eliminate daylight savings, but they actually want to just live in the. They want to live in the.
I'm not saying eliminate time
zones.
I'm saying we could all agree that Mountain Time Zone is the best time zone to watch sports.
100%. They get they're the sweet spot.
So let's just all be there.
God's country, Mountain Time Zone.
Yeah, I mean, who cares about out west if it's dark during the day?
Yeah, boo-hoo. Yeah. It's warm and you got the ocean wind.
You can still go
about it.
Yeah. You have lights on your cars?
Nobody works.
Not often. Well, a lot of times those things don't work.
Nobody in LA, in California, works after 4 o'clock anyway. So they're like, we got to get to the sports games. I'm like, dude, no one out here is working.
Nope.
And no one's going to sports games either.
They're all just sitting on the highway.
Also true. They're all just sitting on the highway. That's where people go to hang out.
Hey, see you out
see
there.
you on the 101.
All right.
No, I'll be on the 5 that time. Oh, you went on the 5 today? Yeah. All right. See you Thursday. Get back to the 10. It's so bad. It's awful.
Burm, you would really thrive living out in California.
I lived in L.A. for a year.
Did you know that?
Did you really?
I lived in L.A.
Lived in
Nice.
Hermosa Beach.
I knew you were in Phoenix.
Yeah, I lived in Phoenix for 10 years, but
You lived in L.A. for a
Hermosa
year.
Beach,
L.A.
huh?
Burm. Gosh, that would be beautiful.
it was fine.
You probably hated life out there.
No, it was fine. I was not really in L.A. I was like in the Torrance or Hermosa Beach area.
Is that
So it's like
where is that?
you're away
South
from
or
it.
north?
South.
Where-
Probably south of
yeah,
LA.
south.
So
south.
you got out of you're
Like
you don't have to spend
Carlsbad,
a lot of
Hermosa
time.
Beach.
Yeah, we were down to
Yeah, those are not next to
Laguna.
each other.
No?
Carlsbad.
Oh, no, I'm not. Carlsbad is not. That's down in San Diego.
We've got the geography.
What am I thinking?
lesson.
God, my buddy used to live there.
No, but this weekend I was in Texas and
Scouting high school dudes.
I went to see the state championship games
In football.
in football, and like driving around Dallas, I was like, why would anyone live here purposefully? It's awful.
It used to be better. It's just slowly because when I left Dallas, there was like I want to say 5 million people there, and then maybe there's 7 now, or it's went from 3 to 5, and like basically almost doubled. It's crazy.
I was talking to a guy down there. They said their middle schools and high schools have like A, B, and C teams. Like that's how many kids come out
Watching
at
on-
multiple
on-
different
on
high schools in
Saturday.
the same area.
On Saturday,
It's like-
South Oak Cliff in Dallas, Duncanville, and DeSoto, who are all like within the 15-minute radius.
They're
of
all
one another.
South Dallas.
They were all like in a 15-minute radius of each other. Were like all of them have 150 players on their teams, and they were all amazing. And it's like what?
Nuts.
Well, Schlegel played at DeSoto, so you know what you're
You
getting.
know
there.
what you're getting there. That's right.
I think that
Were they gas station?
No,
ready?
it looked the same. Schleg's just looked different. Schleg's was the only white dude. He said it was me, and then we had a Latino guy, and he had some name for him.
they were unbelievable. That team was
Schleg's was a
crazy
captain there
good.
as a sophomore.
Crazy good.
Yeah.
We will be back in the DFW area, leaving on Christmas to cover the Cotton Bowl. Excited for that. And Roosters will be closed on Christmas. So
this is our last one we're
this
doing.
is our
until-
last
until after.
show of the year, and so we'll get back right after the new year. And
You have our predictions?
what do you got?
Ooh.
How can you make a prediction now? We don't know who's playing.
You can change
might.
it
Kind of
later.
have an idea who's playing.
Yeah.
We know who the starting quarterback
Let's
is.
hear it. Predictions. You've talked me out of it.
I'd say Buckeyes 31-21.
That's a lot of points. That'll be juicy.
A lot of points, 31. I mean,
27-17.
I can't get the memory of the last Cotton Bowl out of my mind, which was like
24.
just an absolute slog.
That was because JT Barrett was playing with one leg.
I don't and I don't understand.
Speaking of guys that shouldn't have been playing in a game, like
Can we
Dwayne,
not-
Dwayne Haskins just won the Michigan game.
Like, can we not see Dwayne in this game?
Dwayne Haskins just won the Michigan
You're
game.
not
JT's
gonna-
career's over.
when JT looks at you and says, I'm playing in the game, you're not going to say you're not playing.
See, but you could have like found a way to use Dwayne in
What,
that
hit
game.
JT with a golf cart?
Oh.
No, I mean
Found
like
Connor
I'm
Staggs to
saying-
finish him off?
That's what I'm saying. Sometimes football is crazy because like that was the last game of JT's Ohio State career, and obviously you're not going to tell him you can't play.
Exactly.
But you do want to at least understand for Dwayne, like this, that was
get
the
it.
Simba moment, right?
I get it. But
Well,
it's really
but they
hard.
didn't want to alienate Joe either.
Here-
So.
but even outside of that, it's really hard. If you have a guy that's come there and done what he has done and dedicated and given you all this stuff, and you have
11 years that he gave.
yes, but veteran players in general, and you're like, well, we're just going to play the young guys. But like, you want to talk about breaking down culture?
Mm-hmm.
That's Mike Hall or not Mike Hall, Marcus Hall on the way out. Right there. Like, if you're going to tell me that I've given you 4 or 5 years and now you want to play the young guys and see them and I can't have a chance to win in a significant game.
Yeah.
We're not
Against
playing
USC,
we're not playing the Gator Bowl right
Yeah.
now. I mean, this is real.
That was against the,
Yeah.
the guy that everyone was talking
Sam
about as the
Darnold.
number one pick.
I hope that if Marvin decides not to play, he doesn't take the Denzel Ward approach and put out a statement 10 minutes before kickoff.
I don't think you'll see that. I think you'll see him dressed on the sideline. Maybe in a jersey.
Fully dressed?
I don't know. Chris Olave did.
Yeah,
He didn't have uniform on.
I thought Chris
He
was.
did not have pads on. He had already.
Are you sure?
He had already made his decision. He wasn't playing in the game.
So that was the Rose Bowl 2 years ago. 48-45.
Haskell, Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave. They made their plans clear during the week.
Maybe he won't dress then.
48-45 was that Cotton Bowl or that Rose Bowl, right?
Yeah.
What do you? And now you're saying you can't get the last Cotton Bowl out of your mind, but what's the actual?
21-17 Ohio State.
21-17 Ohio State. Okay, 42-38.
This man just wants to argue with me right now.
Missouri's going to score points.
Yeah.
Okay.
They got a good team.
Well, I think
We have good
I think
defense.
Ohio State's defense is going to be
Yeah,
pretty
we got-
much full go.
We got a good
I mean,
defense with
that's-
everybody back, right? for the most part.
We'll see. JT is the only key.
Latham's not playing
And
this game.
we don't expect Tommy to play. You still can't really be sure if Lathan's playing or not because we haven't.
Heard
don't know what he's doing.
Latham playing in the game or coming back? I don't think Latham will play in the game.
I mean, still the injury part.
Yeah, there's still that to worry about. So
I was worried.
I would not anticipate Latham playing this game. Now coming back, I think that's a different conversation.
But if you're missing the heart of your team up the middle. I think that Missouri, the way they run the ball, without really being sure exactly what Michael Hall's doing or anyone else,
Alex playing, right?
I think that Missouri will score some points. Let me amend. Not 42-38. Let's go 38-31 Ohio State.
All right. It's locked in. We hope you have a wonderful week. On Tuesday, of course, you can come for Appetizer Thursday and get some cheesy bacon fries. Happy holidays to all of you. Enjoy the Cotton Bowl. Thanks for all year hanging with us in the Horseshoe Lounge at Roosters. Thanks to Nicole Cox. She's getting ready to take the 12 bowl trip giveaway winners. That's why she wasn't with us. Happy holidays and Merry Christmas to her family as well. This group will be back together after the New Year. So Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Cotton Bowl. We'll talk to you all then. Thanks to Jay-Z, Bob, and Birmingham, Austin. See you.